No, no records.
Play for us.
Perfect. Recording is started. All right. Good morning. Welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. Today's code item of the week is speak and act supportively of ECI as a company and of our workers. Ben Dow.
Good way to respect ourselves and respect each other. Be positive and try to work together to solve things rather than arguing and speaking poorly on others, and have those tough conversations, but have them in private.
Thank you, Ben.
I don't know where all that came. I don't know where all that came from. Sorry.
It's from your recent experience as a parent.
Yeah, exactly.
In case anyone doesn't know, Ben's been caring for, and his wife been caring for their grandchildren for the last couple months.
Yeah.
All right, this week's safety news, we're starting to get those numbers up a little bit for the first time in a while. So 47 days without a recordable, 29 days without a first aid injury, 7 days without a vehicle incident. And this week's safety shout out goes to all of our professional truck drivers. This week is National Truck Driver Appreciation Week, and we appreciate you guys being safe at the wheel every day. So
awesome. They look good out there.
Yep, they do.
You know what? Tom and Ken and everyone, we rarely get a complaint on our truck drivers. Hardly ever. I don't even remember the last time. And that's the biggest exposure we have. People see that big billboard and they just want to complain. So good job, guys.
Big vehicles and heavy. So
yeah.
The responsibility out there, they do well. So
yep.
All right, today we're going to talk about mobile elevated work platforms, or Mewps. I like calling them Mewps because it's kind of fun to say. So the most common ones that we use are scissor lifts and boom lifts. And you can see both of them utilized there. There's some differences in terms of fall protection and stuff like that, but we'll get there. Your hazards associated with it are obviously falling out of them. You could have objects falling on you. You could have them tip over. You have structural failures, electrical shock if you come into contact with power, you get entangled with something, or you get ejected from the lift. That more applies to boom lifts than to scissor lifts, which is why you're required to be tied into a boom lift, because it'll literally catapult you out if you go over something uneven very quickly, or even slowly, but it drops elevation quickly. So training, you have to be trained and authorized to use a Mewp. You can contact the health and safety team with any training needs that you might have. So fall protection, with boom lifts, you have to use a body harness and lanyard. Always stand firmly on the floor with any of these. Only tie off to the manufactured approved points to tie off to, and do not tie off to adjacent structures. If that goes and the lift pulls away for some reason, it could put you into a bad position. With scissor lifts, you always want to stand firmly on the floor, and fall protection is not always required. We don't have a policy on that, but it can be by the general contractor. Some of them do have policies that you have to tie in when you're using them. The other thing too is if you're kind of leaning out excessively over the side, obviously you're going to do all your work kind of over the side of any Mewp. But if you're leaning out excessively, it's a good idea to tie in. Same thing, if your feet aren't firmly on the floor all the time, then you should be tied in as well. So
another thing for the scissor lift, you can't really tie in unless there's a tie-in attachment.
Correct. Most of them do have them though, because a lot of general contractors and companies do have a requirement on them. And operation and traveling, you don't want to exceed the low capacity limits. Do not exceed the vertical or horizontal reach limits. Keep away from overhead power lines. Do not override any safety devices, and keep the lift on level ground at all times. And when you are traveling, if you could have it as set to as small of a footprint as possible, that's going to limit how much you're getting jolted around, and you could get catapulted. So if you keep it low to the ground, or at least the boom as short as possible, that's going to make everything a lot safer for you. And best practices, it's best to run the Mewp all the way through a full range of functions, so up, down, left, right. and all that sort of stuff before you go high. Because if there's an issue with it coming down, let's say, you would rather know that when you're 6 feet off the ground than when you're way off the ground. You want to ensure that they're fueled up prior to use. If you run out of fuel while you're up in the air, could get yourself into a predicament that you can't get out of until the machine started. And obviously, being diesel, sometimes they don't start up very easily once they run out of fuel. So just make sure that you're topping them off at the start of the day. And you want to just take your time, especially if you don't run them frequently. Just make sure that you're doing everything carefully and that you're not creating jolting movements or anything like that. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. All right, let's see. I'll take over the screen. I can figure out where I want to go here. There we go. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. So, Mewps, huh? All right.
Just call Burns and tell him you need a Mewp
Yep.
delivered.
So no new announcements, just the A304 keys now we're being phased out. So safety department's going to be coming by at some point and making an exchange in the old locks to the new locks with keys, of course. And then our Facebook and Instagram links are there. We should check on those frequently because there's a lot of good articles prepared by Elena.
Yeah.
Allard, and she's interviewed people. It's really pretty cool. We don't have any new employees this week. Next week we get some more coming. I have the link to the ECI Primary Care Wellness Program, and of course, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, we added now the ECI Employee Assistance Program. So if you're in any kind of crisis or struggles, certainly look into this connection. It's free. It's counseling, and there's information in the brochure, and it's good for your family as well. So really good stuff. Okay, this week we're going to talk about tennis and pickleball court paving. Jim, you out there?
Yes, I am, Ken.
And anyone else from the paving group who wants to contribute, right?
Yeah, I think Daryl took one or two of these. I think the first one here. Yeah, we've done quite a few courts here this season for actually 2-3 different contractors too. Most of them for Vermont Tennis Court or Vermont Recreational Surfacing there. Steve Shattuck, who also does guardrail, and we've done work for them, or they've done work for us, I think, on other projects.
Right.
So yeah, this first one is indoor paving, former tennis courts that they had during the COVID had to turn the whole area into workout area or changed what they were doing, and then after COVID here they wanted to switch it back to either tennis courts, but the pickleball become so popular that they
good thing that door wasn't any narrower.
It's only we didn't think we were going to get trucks in there.
Looks like they barely fit.
And Daryl went and we rented this giant air blower that goes on a skid steer that we put in one of the doors to blow air. So yeah, resurface the entire surface inside of this big metal building. Should know the dimensions on it, but it was like 130-ish ton, I think. 6+ loads. Came out nice, just like a 1-inch.
It was like a bare concrete floor there.
Yeah, it's actually mostly asphalt. It looks like concrete, but they had drilled holes and done all this kind of stuff. And the tennis court contractor wasn't quite comfortable with just doing some patching, and he elected to put a 1-inch overlay on it.
Yep.
Came out nice. And there's kind of the finished product. And they're redoing the interior walls, and probably in a month or so that'll all be resurfaced, and I'll get over there. It'd be nice to see it when it's completed.
What'd you guys use for a mix, Jim?
Just a
Is it
Type 4.
modified? Type
Not-
4?
Yep. The 3/8.
Must have taken a while to cool off in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was one of a hotter day too as well. So this court we did earlier is literally on the outside. So on the top right is the building that we're inside of. So this is Vermont Rec rebuilt some outdoor courts that used to be tennis courts and turning those into pickleball. So that was after we did our base and top. These are typically the outdoor ones are all 2 lifts, 1.5 inch a base, and then they come in and put some sleeves in for the posts, and we go back and put the top on. It can be kind of a pain with the outer posts, but so that's all paved. The fence posts are in, the
Different
court
one there.
posts. This is a little private court actually down in Burlington and Apple Tree. I think one of the Pomerlows. That was a resurface of a real old existing court. And they got the posts in. That was for Vermont Rec too. Private one.
Pomelos have grass growing on their
Yeah. Oh
probably
yeah, they got
their house, huh?
it's got a little complex down there. That's like an outbuild or like a apartment or garage. I think they turned into a.
Yep.
The next one will be the finished product of
That's
that
probably out of
outdoor.
order a little bit here.
Yeah, so they turned that into 8 pickleball courts. I was counting.
That's the one at the edge, right at Twin.
Yep, the edge, the outdoor.
Yeah.
Pickleball has really taken
Oh yeah.
a big. Came out nice, really nice. They spent some money for sure, and Vermont Rec does a nice job.
No sharp.
Very sharp. Yep.
Nice blue.
The next one. So this was a finished product. It's Houghton Park up in St. Albans, actually. Sorry, we actually graded and paved this one for another contractor. Came out really nice. That's got a combination of basketball and tennis, maybe some pickleball. But yeah, and that was a grade and a pave a base on the top. And they came in afterwards and put all the posts and the fence up. So that was kind of nice. Based it one day and topped it the next day.
Nice.
And we had help from the survey crew with grading it. It's typically they get very, very just like a 1% to one side or the other, not a crown.
Like precision paving.
Right.
Yeah, it is. It's when we pay for Vermont Rec, they do their own grading and they say you set that screen and don't touch it because the grading gets right on the money.
Well,
yeah,
that's
just another view of the Houghton Park up in St. Albans.
It's good that they take all the responsibility for the grade.
Yeah. Yep. This was one of the first that we graded ourselves. I think that's still Houghton Park, St. Albans, I believe. Jim Sharon took those pics for me. This is kind of a neat one. This was just a resurface, but a municipal courts up in Montgomery for Advantage Tennis, I believe. Basically a shim and overlay, and they came in afterwards. They have to wait like 2 to 3 weeks till they can do their coating and surfacing for the lefty oily surface kind of dissolve. And then they come in. That one came out really nice too. It looks like some pickleball as well.
Yep.
And I think the last one is a little private court down in Shelburne. Access was not too easy. We had to bring all this mix in with skid steer down at Pine Haven Shore, an older court too, surrounded by trees and all grown up, but giving it a facelift.
Yep.
Yeah. So that
there's a lot of old tennis courts out there that
there are. Yeah, a lot of them need to just go abandoned, or
right.
Then somebody says, "Oh, let's," and it can take a little work to refurbish them.
Yep.
And money.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this maybe
didn't have one of the finished Pomelo, or at least I didn't notice it or something. And I was trying to download all those photos, and they were.
No, it's not done yet.
Oh, okay, it's not.
Yeah. 15 years ago. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. So this was 2009. I'll skim up here. So Mount Mansfield High School track and field paving in Jericho, 2009. So we did the grading and the paving and the site work.
Yeah. Yeah, funny. I was just up there last Saturday for a football game, and looks nice.
It looks
still.
good.
Looks really good. They've taken care of it. Nothing's moved too much, and looked really good. That looks like must be the first lift. You can still see the little lip around the inside of the trench drain.
Yep.
That was probably
I think
that's
Larry
the first
Sullivan
track
did
we
that
done.
job.
Yeah.
Who's on the roller? I can't quite. Daryl would probably know.
Audrey.
Is it Mike?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
Thanks,
you,
Joe.
Jim. Thank you, Daryl, and the paving group. Did a great job. Pretty cool stuff. Just the diversity of work we do is great. So I'll turn it back over to the safety department to close out the meeting. And by the way, I guess, is it today or tomorrow or yesterday? It was the last day of summer. Let's call this the last weekend of summer, right?
Make it count, right?
Yeah, make it
All right.
count.
Have a great weekend. Have a safe day. Have a good day. And if you were watching a group setting, please send your attendance over to myself, as Matt is on vacation today. So
Okay, great. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom.